Hey guys, you're watching Wolf of Remus Total War YouTube channel, and this is another episode of You the Real MVP. And in this episode, I'm going to be focusing on Gallic warriors, or in this case, mercenary Gallic warriors. I believe they have the same stats. But yeah, I'm going to try and show you how you can use cheap infantry, and especially these guys, and put them to their best use. I'm playing against Silano. I've never played this guy before, but this is on Quick Battle, and he seemed to be a very worthy opponent. So let me just quickly go over. Actually, let me go over these guys, the Gallic Warriors unit stats first, and then I'll go over my build and his build, and then start the battle. So why do I think Gallic Warriors are MVPs? Well, if you take a look at their stats, they've got. Well, keep in mind that their cost is only 350. They're one of the cheapest sword units that you can get. Um, but for that, you are getting 58 melee defense and 45 morale. And these two stats will come into play later on in this battle, and I'll show you how it does. But just keep in mind that these two stats are incredibly high for units that are so cheap. They also have very high weapon damage. I believe it's 40 regular damage and 4. If I could, I can't really select it right now, but I'll probably link it in the description or something. But I believe it's 4 armor piercing. That's not great, but I mean the fact that they have such high weapon damage is also a pretty big boost to their value. Anyways, so my army is comprised of 3 Samnite warriors and 1 noble fighter in the middle, and then on they're flanked by 2 mercenary Gallic warriors, and I've got 2 mercenary Gallic warriors behind them. And on my for my cavalry, I've got mercenary companion and mercenary Scutari cav, backed up by Libyan hoplite, late Libyan hoplite, and mercenary Numidian cavalry, and the same on my right. And finally, I've got my general, a Numidian cavalry next to him, and a late Libyan hoplite behind my infantry corps. So for Silano's build, we'll take a look at it in a second, but he has 5 avocado cohorts. Let me just fast forward a bit so that we can see his army. Okay, so now we can take a better look. I believe he has 3 Syrian archers and 5 avocado cohorts, and that's the only sword units that he has. Now we can take a good look. So he's got 4 Syrian archers, 5 avocado cohorts. Let me pause this over here. He's got 1 Praetorian cavalry, and 2 auxiliary cavalry behind it, and a Triarii who's going to be backing them up pretty soon. And on this flank, he just chose not to bring any cavalry, which is an unorthodox move to say the least. But here the battle is just about to start, and well, just judging from the infantry quality, you would say that his infantry will destroy mine any time of the day, because avocado cohorts are just some of the best infantry units that you can find in the game for their price. They're incredible. So I believe these guys are right now they're 910 or 880 or something like that, and Samnite warriors are on 760. And just taking a look at the stats, you can easily see that they outclass them in almost every way possible. 61 versus 36 melee attack. They've got 10 less armor, but I believe they've got and they've got less health, but they've got higher base morale, around the same melee defense. But yeah, it's just their melee attack just adds so much to their value. So on a head-on charge, I believe the only so they've got higher melee attack than mercenary and noble fighters. Holy hell! So on a head-on charge, I would not expect any of these guys to survive. My Samnite warriors, who are basically my main infantry corps. You would imagine that if these guys rout, then the game's basically done for me. But let's see how this goes. So he charges his Praetorian cav into my Numidians. These guys do a great job of baiting them, and they run straight into my late Libyan hoplites. And the first use of my Gallic warrior starts over here. I move one of them and just try to bog them down. So one of the great uses of these cheap infantry that I've found out, and especially Gallic warriors, is because they have such high melee defense, they can be used to bog down almost any unit, and most units are going to be of higher value than them. So Praetorian Cav around 1200 cost or something like that. I just set a late Libyan hoplite on them and then just bog them down with one or two more mercenary Gallic warriors. So now they tried to pull through to my Numidian Cav. There was a bit of lag in this game, and as I said, you cannot trust skirmish AI in Rome too. Um, and the Numidian Cav get caught, but that's okay. These guys have already taken around 11 casualties so far. Over here, it's just a head-on collision, and already you will see in about less than a minute that these guys are just going to rout. And my Gallic warriors, since I have the numbers advantage, I try to flank him, but he does very well and catches my Gallic warriors on the flank. On a one-to-one charge, on a one-to-one battle, these guys are obviously going to die very quickly. But here's the thing: for the price of one Evocati cohort, you can get 2 to 3 Gallic warriors, and that's the advantage that I have. These guys are going to die, but I've got another Gallic warrior. Sorry, I've got another Gallic warrior just over here to help him. So as I said, melee defense helps bog down the enemy, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to pin this Evocati cohort in place, and they're going to do this for a while. And who would you rather prefer to have ready, an Evocati cohort or a Gallic warrior? Obviously, an Evocati cohort. But since these guys are bogged down by my cheaper infantry, that's going to be a bigger loss for him than it is for me. So 92 already. My Samnite warriors is about just a couple of seconds into the battle, and clearly the Evocati cohorts are already winning. The Praetorian Cav are not doing well. Over here, my Gallic warriors are losing very quickly and not getting many kills. But over here, these Gallic warriors have come to help, and they're going to just bog down, like I said. Now I try to get cute with my with my javelin cavalry and place in some fire arrows. And I don't know if you noticed, but I had a couple of cavalry around here, and I tried to swing them and hit the backs of these Evocati cohort because I could not win in a regular head-on engagement. But he was smart, and he brought his legionary cavalry to intercept my companion cavalry and my Scutari. I did take out one of his archers, but I didn't get a proper charge on his Evocati cohort, and that's what's going to hurt me much more. Here the skirmish AI is derping out again, and I don't know why, but these guys just attacked them. Well, let's just disregard that for the moment. These guys are just about done. Gallic warriors only 8 kills, but that's okay. These guys have already got 24. Over here, his Triarii have caught up with my companion and Scutari cavalry, and that's not good for me. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to pull out of this engagement very soon. His Praetorian cavalry, they've suffered a bunch of casualties, and this could have been really bad for me if I had a Praetorian cavalry behind my force. So already a big use of my Gallic warriors was just to bog them down. As you can see from their XP bar, all those 16 kills have been, or most of them would have been from Praetorian cavalry. You can see in a matter of less than a minute into this fight, the Evocati cohorts have destroyed my Samnite warriors. So now basically I'm out of my infantry corps, and it's up to my cheap infantry to try and help save the battle. I do have a lot of them. I have a ton of them left. And that's another advantage of bringing cheap infantry. You can bring a lot of them. They bogged down the other auxiliary cavalry with the help of my Libyan hoplites and just managed to kill them. And now since I have extra infantry, unlike my opponent, I can use them to attack his Triarii, who would have posed a problem to my cavalry. So now these guys are going to attack the Triarii. I don't know if they would do much damage anyways. They'd probably kill a fair few, but since they have low melee attack, I don't think they would, they would win it very quickly. But like I said, their main use is not destroying other infantry, it's about bogging them down. My Scutari cav and my companion cav on my right have been destroyed. Poor move on my part. Should have microed them better or used them better. Noble fighters, they're the only ones who won the battle against the Evocati, and barely. But they have he has an extra Evocati forming up on the flank. And I've sent another of my Gallic warriors to help out in this battle, bog them down, like I said. The other Gallic warrior, 46 kills, all of Evocati, 47 and counting, 48. And these are very high value kills. and he sends his commander over here. I don't really know why. Maybe to catch my Numidian cav, but I managed to gang up and kill his general early on, which is a pretty big boost for me. Um, these Gallic warriors already on one chevron. All they got was Praetorian cav kills and Triarii, so they're really proving their value for money. And now they they're getting a decent number of kills. I mean, the last time I saw them, they were around 16 kills, and now they're around 50. So that's great. Avocardi's slowly dropping down. They have 200 kills, but one was a complete unit of Gallic warriors, and the other one's doing pretty well. 60 kills on the Avocardi is pretty decent, and like I said, bogging them down. He's got his infantry extremely spread out. I do too, but I just have more of them, so the battle is kind of swinging into my favor. Um, Meanwhile, I've trapped his Syrian archers and his cavalry, and he's just formed a massive blob over here. He's got another Avocardi, almost full strength Avocardi cohort attacking, but thankfully I have another companion cav left, and they're one of the few units that can stand up to an Avocardi cohort, and yeah, they're putting a hurt on them. So now my late Libyan hoplite decides to rout. I don't know why they rear charge the Triarii, but still it's fine. These guys are slowly getting more kills. He has two extra units of Avocardi cohort about to come down, and if they manage to help out, then it's basically game over for me. I have another late Libyan hoplite wavering here, and here you can see they have 45 morale, but that bonus versus infantry really counts. And finally, I route that one Avocardi cohort. So finally, 350 plus 350, so that's what, 700. 700 versus 900, a 900 cost unit. So that's, in the end, that's a win for me. So even if you lose one entire unit of mercenary Gallic warriors and you send another, you can win versus an Avocardi cohort. I had one Scutari cav which I could have just used to smash the rear and get that done even quicker, but I didn't micro well. This Gallic warrior is just staying put, getting kills slowly. Companions are doing a very good job already at 2 chevrons, and they're mainly getting Avocardi cohort kills. I managed to kill his general, and these guys are freed up, so I'm going to send them over here. And I believe I was going to send my general to attack his archers, try and cause a chain rout. That's going to be my best strategy. So on this left side, everyone is basically routed except these guys. They're just managing, because even though they don't have great morale, 45 morale isn't great, but since they have such high melee defense, they don't drop very quickly, especially to a spear unit. They will lose, but they will lose very slowly. So as long as they're there, they just manage to get more and more kills and die very slowly. And for a cheap unit like that, that's going to be their best use. He decides to use flaming shot over here. Maybe a pretty decent use, actually. I mean, he had a numbers advantage over here, so the morale shock would have been greater for me. But these guys are very low on men, and eventually they die out to my companion calves. My general manages to pull through his legionary cavalry and attack his skirmishers. I've got his skirmishers, so that's a big boost for me. These guys start to waver. I've got my extra unit of Gallic warriors over here, and they're going to pin down his Avocardi cohort. Just keep them from doing more damage and keep my general alive. So the late Libyan hoplites, they routed and went here. These guys have lasted long enough that they've decided to have second thoughts and come back to help the Gallic warrior. So yeah, I mean that's really the reason why I love these guys. They've lost a bunch of men, but they've killed a bunch of high value units in the process. I finally mop up. My companion cav did amazing, and I mean, like they're supposed to, and finish off that last Avocardi cohort, and the Syrian archer is basically done. And yeah, that's a win for me. Very, very close game, but I firmly believe that my Gallic warriors saved my ass in that game. If you can see the unit stats, around 250 kills for a total cost of 1400. So they cost around uh, an elite sword unit's price, and they kill 250 units worth of either Praetorian cavalry or Evocati cohort. And if you can make one single unit of elite sword units kill 250 Evocati cohorts, then I gotta hand it to you, man. I highly doubt it, but if you have numbers, sometimes cheap units can be worth it. So the only reason I won was due to sheer numbers, and to put those numbers on, I believe these guys are the best cheap sword units that you can get. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this episode. Hope you guys learned a fair bit about cheap units from now. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.